Welcome back, everybody. Ready for another deep dive?
Absolutely. Always ready to explore new ideas.
Well, today we're tackling something pretty wild. The Urantia book's take on the Morantia life.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever stopped to think what happens between our earthly life and, becoming a full-on spirit?
It's a question that's fascinated people for centuries.
For sure, and that's where this whole concept of Morantia comes in. It's like this transitional phase, this in-between state.
Mm.
And let me tell you, the Urantia book gets into some pretty fascinating details about it.
What I find so intriguing is this idea that we don't just, instantly become perfect spirits when we die, like flip a switch.
Yeah, right.
The Urantia book suggests that this transition is way more gradual. It's like a cosmic evolution of our souls.
So it's more like a journey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this journey takes place on these special worlds called Morantia worlds, completely different from anything we experience here on Earth.
Okay, hold on. So we're talking about actual physical places.
Oh, yeah. The Urantia book even describes these incredible mansion worlds, like levels within these Morantia realms.
Okay, so picture this. You're done with your earthly life, and you wake up on a mansion world. What's it like? Give me the grand tour.
Well, first of all, imagine a world that is just unbelievably beautiful, beyond anything you've ever seen.
Okay, I'm picturing like some kind of paradise.
That's a good start. But then add in this. These worlds are made up of 100 physical elements.
100.
That's right. Double what we have here on Earth.
Wow.
Plus, they're built with this special substance called Morantia material, which is created by blending physical and spiritual energies.
Urantia material. Okay, that's a new one.
It's like the perfect bridge between the material and spiritual realms, which makes sense when you think about it, right?
Yeah, I guess so. You're transitioning from a physical body to a spiritual existence, so you need something in between.
Exactly.
But it's not just the environment that's changing, right?
Right. You are too.
You're telling me the Urantia book talks about us going through hundreds of different forms during this Urantia life, like 570 to be exact.
It is quite a transformation, but don't worry, it's not like you're suddenly morphing into something totally different. These changes happen gradually. They're like a reflection of your spiritual growth.
Okay, that makes me feel a bit better. 570 changes all at once might be a bit much, even for the afterlife. But hold on a second. Who's in charge of all this? Who's creating these forms and making sure this whole cosmic system runs smoothly?
Well, that's where the Morantia Power Supervisors come in. These guys are specialized bees responsible for basically orchestrating the energy flows and the materialization processes on these Morantia worlds.
So they're like the architects and engineers of this whole realm.
Exactly. It's a big job, too. Think about it, they're creating and adjusting these intricate Morantia forms for every single ascending mortal.
I bet that keeps them busy.
To manage all of that, there are 7 different types of Morantia Power Supervisors, each with their own specific role.
7 different types. Okay, give me some examples.
Well, you've got circuit regulators who coordinate the energies on each world. Then there are system coordinators who harmonize the energy systems between multiple worlds. It's quite a complex operation.
So there's a whole cosmic team making sure everything runs smoothly. But what about guidance? The Urantia book mentions these Morantia companions. Are those like mentors for us during this whole transition?
Exactly. Think of them as your guides and friends. They're always there to support you.
Okay, that's kind of nice.
And the Urantia book describes them as being incredibly charming, compassionate, totally dedicated to helping ascending mortals navigate the complexities of this whole Morantia life.
So I'm picturing these, wise and friendly beings welcoming you to your mansion world and showing you the ropes.
Yeah, something like that.
It sounds pretty reassuring, actually, especially when you're navigating a whole new reality. What other kinds of companions are there?
Well, when you first arrive on a mansion world, you're greeted by pilgrim receivers. You could think of them as the welcome committee.
Okay.
And then there are even hosts to celestial visitors, making sure that any guests from other realms feel right at home.
Celestial guests. So, like, we get visitors from other dimensions.
Apparently so. And then you've got coordinators and liaison directors who are kind of like the social butterflies of the Morantia world, helping everyone connect and interact.
So there are parties in the afterlife. Sign me up. What else is there to do in these mansion worlds?
Well, there are new languages to learn.
Oh, no. More homework.
Well, luckily there are interpreters and translators to help you with that.
Okay, that's good.
And if you're feeling adventurous, you can even go on excursions to other worlds with excursion and reversion supervisors, like cosmic tourism.
That sounds amazing. exploring new worlds, meeting new beings. It's kind of mind-blowing. And all of this is happening while we're transitioning from our physical selves to pure spirit.
Exactly. It's a journey of transformation, exploration, and, continuous learning. And we've only just begun to scratch the surface of what the Urantia book has to say about this Morantia life.
I'm definitely ready to dive deeper. But before we move on, let's just take a moment to appreciate how wild this all is. We're talking about specialized beings, these incredible mansion worlds, and this gradual transformation into spiritual beings. It's a lot to wrap your head around.
It really challenges our earthly perspective, doesn't it? It suggests that what we consider the end of life here is actually just the beginning of something much grander, much more expansive.
I'm starting to see that. And speaking of expanding our understanding, the Urantia book also mentions these reversion directors. What's their role in all of this?
They have a fascinating job. They help you revisit memories from earlier stages of your existence.
Like past lives?
Well, not exactly past lives, but past experiences from different stages of your soul's journey. It allows you to gain a fresh perspective on those experiences.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's like therapy for the soul.
You could say that.
Yeah.
And get this, they even help you find humor in those memories.
Wait, humor in the afterlife? I'm intrigued. Humor in the afterlife. That's not something you hear every day. Tell me more about these reversion directors. How do they bring humor into the Moranchi experience?
Well, the Urantia book suggests that, revisiting past memories isn't just for kicks. It's actually a way to kind of recharge and gain a broader perspective on things.
So it's not just about, laughing at our old embarrassing moments. It's about gaining a deeper understanding of our past selves and how we've evolved.
Exactly. It's like,
Whoa.
when you look back at old photos and you realize how much you've changed over time. And sometimes those changes are so drastic, you can't help but laugh.
I can definitely relate to that. But what kind of humor are we talking about here? Is it like stand-up comedy in the afterlife?
Not exactly stand-up, no. But the Urantia book describes three types of spirit humor: reminiscent jests, current humor, and something called prophetic joy.
Prophetic joy. Okay, you've got to explain that one.
So prophetic joy is this idea of finding humor in the grand scheme of things, knowing that ultimately all things work together for good, even if we don't always see it that way in the moment.
So it's a kind of humor that comes from a deeper understanding of the cosmos and our place in it, like cosmic irony.
Precisely. It's about trusting in the divine plan, even when things get tough. And sometimes when you look back on those tough times, you can't help but see the humor in how everything worked out.
That's an interesting way to look at it. It makes you wonder if those tough times we experience here on Earth might actually be part of some big cosmic comedy. We're all just players on this grand stage.
It's definitely a thought-provoking idea.
Yeah.
And it brings us back to this whole concept of the Morantia life as this transitional phase, a time of growth and learning as we shed our earthly limitations and, we embrace our spiritual potential.
Speaking of learning, I'm curious about the educational aspect of all this. Does the Urantia book mention any kind of schooling or mentorship beyond the companions we've talked about?
Oh yeah, it does. There are these special teachers called Mansion World Teachers who are dedicated to helping ascending mortals fill in any gaps in their knowledge, stuff they might have missed during their earthly lives.
So it's like a cosmic catch-up class for the afterlife?
In a way, yes. But it's not just about catching up. It's about expanding your understanding and preparing you for the even greater challenges and opportunities that lie ahead on your spiritual journey.
What kind of things do these Mansion World teachers teach? I mean, what's on the curriculum in these cosmic classrooms?
Well, imagine going to school to learn about thinking, feeling, and doing, but on a whole new level. These Mansion World teachers help you refine those skills, apply them to your spiritual growth.
Sounds intense.
It is. But remember, this is the afterlife, so there's no pressure, no stress. It's all about learning at your own pace and enjoying the journey.
That's good to hear. So it seems like there's a lot of support in these Moranchi realms. We've got companions, teachers, these reversion directors who help us see the humor in our past selves. It's like this whole cosmic support system to guide us through this transition.
It really is a remarkable system. And it's not just about individual growth either. The Urantia book suggests that this whole process of Morantia progression is preparing us for something much grander.
Oh, do tell. What's the grand plan?
Well, it hints at a future where we'll use all this hard-earned wisdom and experience to actually contribute to the unfolding of the cosmos. It's like we're all in training for some kind of cosmic mission. But the details, There's still a bit of a mystery.
A cosmic mission. That sounds pretty epic. What are we talking about here? Saving galaxies, spreading peace throughout the universe.
The Urantia book doesn't get into specifics, but it definitely suggests that this transcendent service is a key part of our purpose. Our purpose as evolving spiritual beings.
So it's not just about reaching some blissful state of existence. There's a higher calling involved. We're meant to do something, to make a difference.
Exactly. It's about using our experiences and knowledge to contribute to something bigger than ourselves, something that aligns with the divine will and purpose.
That's a powerful concept. It really gives a whole new meaning to the idea of the afterlife. It's not just about personal salvation or escaping this material realm. It's about actively participating in the unfolding of the cosmos.
Oh,
Wow, this is heavy stuff.
it is. And it really makes you think about the choices we make every day and how they might ripple out into the universe.
This whole concept of transcendent service reminds me of something else you mentioned earlier, Morantia Mota. Didn't you say that was like an expanded philosophy, like a philosophy for the Morantia life?
I did. And it plays a big role in preparing us for this transcendent service. Think of it as a way to bridge the gap between our human understanding of the universe and a much broader, more cosmic perspective.
So it's like Philosophy 2.0, the Morantia edition.
Exactly. It builds on the philosophical concepts we grapple with here on Earth, but takes them to a whole new level.
Okay, color me intrigued. Can you give me some examples of how Morantia Mota expands on human philosophy?
Well, for starters, the Urantia book describes how Urantia Mota uses 28 statements from human philosophy to illustrate its more complex ideas. These statements cover a wide range of topics, from the nature of truth and character to the importance of service and the role of adversity in our growth.
That's fascinating. Can you share some of those statements with us? I'd love to hear a few examples.
Absolutely. One statement that really stands out to me is to enjoy privilege without abuse, to have liberty without license, to possess power and steadfastly refuse to use it for self-aggrandizement. These are the marks of high civilization.
Wow, that's powerful. It speaks to the importance of responsibility, using our gifts for the greater good. It also seems to connect with that idea of transcendent service we were just talking about, using our evolved abilities to contribute to something larger than ourselves.
It's a beautiful illustration of how Morantia Moda takes these human ideas and expands them to a cosmic level. It's about taking those earthly values and applying them to our spiritual evolution and, our role in the grand scheme of things.
I'm starting to see how this Morantia motor really is key to navigating this Morantia life, preparing us for what lies beyond.
It's like a roadmap for the soul.
Can we dive into another one of those philosophical statements? I'm really curious to see how they connect to this cosmic perspective.
Sure. Another one that stands out is the greatest affliction of the human mind is the fear of fear. Unreasoning fear is a terrible disease of the mind.
That is so true. Even here on Earth, fear can be incredibly debilitating. But how does Morantia Moda apply this to the Morantia life?
Well, imagine a realm where fear is basically non-existent. The Morantia life is described as this place of peace, joy, constant growth. So the statement about the fear of fear serves as a reminder that we need to let go of those limiting beliefs and anxieties that hold us back, both in this life and the next.
So it's like a call to embrace courage and trust in the divine plan, even when things feel uncertain.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that fear is often an illusion, a product of our limited human perspective. And as we progress through the Morantia life, we shed those fears and embrace a greater understanding of the cosmos and our place within it.
That's really reassuring, actually. It makes you wonder if some of the things we struggle with here on Earth, like fear and anxiety, might actually fade away as we progress spiritually.
It's definitely a possibility, and it speaks to the transformative nature of the Morantia life, this process of shedding our earthly limitations and embracing our true spiritual potential.
This is all so fascinating. I feel like we're just scratching the surface of this vast and intricate topic.
We are, and there's so much more to explore. But before we get too carried away, let's take a moment to appreciate the incredible scope of what we've been discussing. We're talking about a cosmic journey that begins with our earthly lives and extends through multiple realms, culminating in union with the divine. It's a journey of transformation, service, and, ever-expanding awareness.
It's definitely a lot to take in, but I'm ready for more. What other insights does the Urantia book offer about this Morantia life and what awaits us beyond?
Well, one particularly intriguing concept is this idea that we experience every possible phase of existence during our postmortal journey.
Every possible phase. What does that mean exactly?
It suggests that we're not just passively observing the cosmos, we're actively participating in it. experiencing all of its wonders and complexities. It's like we're meant to taste every flavor of existence, gain a comprehensive understanding of the universe before we move on to whatever lies beyond.
That sounds like an amazing adventure. It definitely makes the idea of death a little less daunting, knowing that it's not an ending, but rather a transition to a whole new phase of existence filled with opportunities for growth, service, and adventure.
The Urantia book really does paint a vivid and compelling picture of this post-mortal journey. And whether you take it literally or metaphorically, it really invites you to think about the meaning of life, the nature of your own spiritual journey.
It's definitely a lot to ponder. But before we get lost in contemplation, there's one more piece of the puzzle I want to explore. The transition from the Moranchi realms to the spirit world. What can you tell us about that?
Ah, yes. That's where things get even more interesting. We'll have to say that for the final part of our deep dive. Stay tuned.
Okay, I am so ready to hear about this transition to the spirit world. Lay it on me.
All right, well, buckle up because it's quite a ride.
Yeah.
So, we've talked about those mansion worlds, right? They're like the first stop on your Morantia journey.
Right, like cosmic kindergarten.
Exactly. But graduation from the mansion worlds, well, that's just the beginning of a much bigger adventure. It's like finishing elementary school and heading off to middle school, then high school, then college. The learning never really stops.
So where do we go after those mansion worlds? What's the next stop on this cosmic tour?
Well, from the mansion worlds, you'd move on to the system headquarters, then the constellation headquarters, and then eventually you make your way to the local universe headquarters, each step along the way. You're presented with new challenges, new opportunities. It's like you're gaining a deeper understanding of the cosmos and, where you fit in.
Wow, it sounds like a never-ending journey of discovery. But is there an end point? I mean, are we just endlessly climbing this cosmic ladder?
Well, the Urantia book suggests that it's not just about endless progression for its own sake. It's about preparing us for something truly extraordinary, a destiny that's, it's beyond our current understanding.
Now you've really got me intrigued. What kind of destiny are we talking
Ah,
about here?
the specifics. A bit of a mystery, but the Urantia book hints at a future where we'll use all the wisdom and experience we've gained on our journey, and we'll contribute to something much larger than ourselves, something that aligns with the divine will.
So it's not just about reaching some blissful state of existence or even reuniting with loved ones. There's something more, a higher calling.
Exactly. It's about using everything we've learned, everything we've experienced,
Yeah.
and then using that to serve the greater good,
Yeah.
to play our part, in the unfolding of the cosmos.
That's a pretty profound concept. It's almost like we're all being trained for this cosmic mission, even though we don't know the details yet.
It's like we're each a piece of a giant cosmic puzzle.
Uh-huh.
And through this whole Morantia life, we're being shaped and refined to fit perfectly, into our designated place.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It really emphasizes the interconnectedness of everything. It's not just about individual salvation. It's about contributing to this, to this grand tapestry of existence.
Precisely. Yeah. And that's what makes this whole concept of Morantia so fascinating. It's not just about what happens after we die. It's about understanding our place in the grand scheme of things,
Yeah.
both in this life and the next.
It really challenges our typical perspective, doesn't it? Like down here, we tend to focus so much on our own little lives and struggles. But the Urantia book, it suggests that we're all part of something much bigger, something much more expansive.
Absolutely. It invites us to shift our focus,
Mhm.
from the temporal to the eternal, from the
Right.
personal to the cosmic. And honestly, that shift in perspective can be incredibly liberating.
It definitely puts things in perspective, just realizing that our individual journeys are part of something so vast, so intricate.
And it encourages us to live our lives with more purpose,
Hmm.
more intention, because every choice we make, every action we take, well, it has a ripple effect throughout the cosmos.
I can see how this concept of the Morantia life can be so comforting and inspiring, too. It offers comfort knowing that death isn't the end. It's just the transition to a whole new phase of existence filled with opportunities. And then it's inspiring to think that we each have this role to play, in this grand cosmic drama, even if we don't know all the details yet.
The Urantia book. It really paints such a hopeful and encouraging picture of the afterlife. And whether you take it literally or metaphorically, it gives you this framework for understanding, the meaning and purpose of our existence.
Well, I think it's safe to say that this has been one of our most mind-expanding deep dives yet.
I agree.
We've covered so much ground today, from those incredible mansion worlds and Morantia Moda to transcendent service. It's just wow.
It has been an amazing exploration. And I hope our listeners have enjoyed the journey with us.
I'm sure they have, and I hope it's made them curious to learn more about this whole concept of Morontia. So until next time, everyone, keep exploring, keep questioning, keep expanding your understanding of the cosmos and your place within it.